For me, some of the keys to the match were the fact that Arsenal really have quite a lot of injury problems. They really missed Bellerin and Monreal in the fullback positions. Liverpool were better at pressing during the game. They were more intense. Arsenal made more mistakes when playing out from the back. And Liverpool's high fullbacks caused Arsenal problems all the way through the game. Starting with Arsenal, they played with a back four: Kolasinac, Sokratis, Mustafi and Lichtsteiner. In the midfield, they had Xhaka and Torreira playing as holding midfielders. On the left, they had Iwobi. In the middle, they had Ramsey. And on the right, they had Maitland-Niles. And up front, Aubameyang on his own. Liverpool, they had their traditional back four as well, of Alexander-Arnold, Lovren, Van Dijk and Robertson on the left. In the midfield, there was a lot of movement in the midfield, but in general they had Fabinho and Wijnaldum. In theory on the right, Shaqiri. In theory on the left, Mane and Firmino and Salah. The reality is that during the game, quite often we would see Firmino in these positions here, Shaqiri wandering into the middle of the pitch, and Salah drifting more over to the right with Mane in a position like this. So almost creating 6 players in the middle of the pitch and creating superiority that way, and then using their fullbacks high up, one of the midfielders moving forward again and creating a defensive 3 at the back holding. And this is how Liverpool dominated the game, with superiority in the midfield, 2 forwards, high fullbacks, and then Shaqiri moving forward, Firmino moving forward, and either Wijnaldum or Fabinho getting forward as well. More often than not, it was Wijnaldum providing energy and getting forward, with Fabinho just sitting back. So if we just put these players now into those positions, Mane trying to occupy these 2 defenders. Likewise, Salah trying to occupy these 2 defenders. Shaqiri trying to get in the spaces in behind this line of 4 Arsenal players. So Shaqiri was trying to move into here. Firmino was also dropping in to receive in these areas here, in behind these lines, trying to cause Arsenal problems so that then he could break forward when the Arsenal players were occupied. The 2 Liverpool centre midfielders, with Wijnaldum finding himself often into these areas here as well, with Firmino sitting back and creating that 3 against 2, just ensuring that Liverpool could stop these counter-attacks in the middle of the pitch. For me, one of the big things in the game was the very start of the game. Liverpool really set the tone, pressing high and intensively. Arsenal, for me, could have got in better positions earlier and had a little bit more calmness on the ball to be able to play out. Just slight changes in their positioning would have allowed them to do this. So here we can see a back pass coming from the Arsenal defender to the goalkeeper. And I'm just going to start by highlighting the position of Sané. He's got to try now and block a pass inside the pitch and then move out to press the ball if the ball comes to this right back. So the goalkeeper has these options. He could play a ball into Mustafi, dangerous because Firmino is there. Play a ball through the middle, but Mane can obviously cut it out as we've shown there, and also play the ball to the right back, which is what happens. Ball comes into this player, but for me, he needed to be moving further out wide so he could develop a better body position, receive the ball open and play forward. By the time the ball arrives to him, Sané is really close and he's got his back to the play. He needs to be open, receiving the ball, looking ahead so that they can play out easily. Instead, Mane gets really close to him, prevents him from turning, and Arsenal are lucky to get a throw-in. Okay, so straight from that throw-in, Arsenal should really just either get it back to their goalkeeper and switch it out wide. Why? Because Liverpool, they've got 6 players in this area. a simple throw in into the goalkeeper would mean they could switch the ball out wide onto the left side of the pitch. Other option for me is just get it long down the line. You've got 6 Liverpool players in this section. Just get it out of that area. Whatever you do, don't play it in. Don't play it into Xhaka in this area here, because he's surrounded by 4 Liverpool players, and this is what they do. So by the time the ball arrives to Xhaka there, the ball is at an awkward height, so he doesn't know whether to head it or control it. There's 3 Liverpool players moving in to surround him, and they end up losing possession. And with that lost possession, Sane can then move in to either have a shot at goal or play in Firmino or Salah. So just get the ball down the line and don't mess around at Anfield in the first few minutes of the game. Later on in the game, Arsenal had another throw-in, and this time they make a pass back into Mustafi instead of playing it into the congested area in the middle of the pitch. Okay, so we can see the passing lines there. Ball back to Mustafi, then into the goalkeeper. This time Torreira offers himself to receive the ball short, and instead of playing the ball into him, turning and playing out from the back, Arsenal decide to play long. So this was just a few minutes after conceding the second goal, so you can kind of understand they'd potentially be nervous, and they played this ball out long and they end up losing possession. This is Liverpool's second goal. Here we can see Arsenal playing out from the back with a long ball. They get a bit lucky because the pass was made into an area with lots of Liverpool players, and Arsenal were fortunate to be able to play the ball back into the path of Torreira. In general, I'm very positive about Torreira. I think he's a very good player for Arsenal, and he's going to go from strength to strength. However, he was at fault for this goal. In this position here, with so many Liverpool players, as I've highlighted, on the opposite side of the pitch, in this position here, he needs to drive forward either into here himself or make a first time pass into here where there's an Arsenal player dropping in to receive. Okay, so we can see the player there which Torreira could have made the pass into. However, he doesn't, and Mane makes a brilliant tackle and Arsenal lose possession. Arsenal were 2 against 2 for a minute, with Mane looking to break in and make it 3 against 2. It wasn't an easy situation for the Arsenal defence, especially with the pace of Mane looking to get into this side of Mustafi. It really gave him a decision to make, and I think he did well for the most part of it until the very end. So I feel like he'd done well to slow the ball down, allowing Torreira to get back in to follow the run of Mane. In this position here, Arsenal needed to either 1, hold their ground and slow the play even more for those other 2 Arsenal players moving in to help them out, or 2, just make the foul on the edge of the box, take the yellow card, make the foul, and prevent Liverpool from going 2-1 up. And after this, Arsenal were a little bit lost in the game. So one of those 2 decisions needed to be made instead of diving in 2 centre-backs and missing the ball with both. Okay, this is the difference between playing out from the back between Arsenal and Liverpool. Liverpool's so much more dynamic. When the ball is passed back to the goalkeeper here, Liverpool players move really quickly into positions to allow them to play out. Okay, I just want to highlight Wijnaldum for the sheer effort which he goes through to get into a position to help play out from the back. Here the goalkeeper's going to play a ball into Van Dijk, who's going to move into that position, and he's then going to play a pass into Robertson. So by the time Robertson receives the ball, look at the amount of distance which Wijnaldum has moved to be able to create space in the middle of the pitch. Robertson decides to drive inside. Seeing this happen, Wijnaldum's going to move away. He's going to drive in between those 2 defenders and cut them out of the game. Here we can see Wijnaldum has moved out towards the wing. That's now sucking Torreira back, allowing space for Robertson to drive through. And this is key, and one of the problems which Arsenal had. If Arsenal had fullbacks with the confidence to take out 2 Liverpool players when playing out from the back, Arsenal would have had a lot more joy. The absence of Bellerin and Monreal really affected Arsenal's playing out from the back and was one of the key points of the match. So from Wijnaldum moving towards the line and dragging Torreira back, Xhaka now moves in and allows space for Robertson to play that ball into those 2 danger men, Firmino and Shaqiri, who again just behind that Arsenal midfield line and in front of the defensive line from Arsenal, creating problems. So now we can see Robertson has continued his run. Wijnaldum should have just played him in. If he'd have played him in there, he wouldn't be offside. Mustafi has then tried to slow his run down to keep him offside. If that ball goes in, Mustafi would be out of position, and Mane would have an easy tap in if he pulls the ball across the box. Here we can see the positional setup of Arsenal, the back four, the midfield four, and the two forwards. And take a look at the back four from Liverpool. Look at how high the fullbacks are, trying to get in behind the midfield and the defence from Arsenal. Now take a look at the positioning from Shaqiri and Firmino. Like I put it out earlier in the formation talk, they're just in between the midfield and defensive line from Arsenal, causing them trouble and not knowing who to pick up. The two Arsenal centre-backs at this point have no one to pick up, and Mane is going to move out of this position here, suck out the right back, and he's going to play a little 1-2 with Fabinho. So once he's played that 1-2 with Fabinho, he's now got different options. Look at the movement of Salah. He's going to make a movement inside the left back and the centre back to try and suck away the play away from the left wing, where Trent Arnold is going to make a movement in behind. So that centre back there has got a real big problem. Does he go with Salah and prevent the ball going to him? Because let's be honest, he's the danger man at the moment. Or does he move out wide and stick with Trent Arnold? He makes the right decision. So by the time the ball arrives at Trent Arnold, he has to try and stop that cross coming in. It's a good job for Arsenal that ball wasn't better than it was, because if the ball arrives at Trent Arnold's feet here, simple cross into the middle of the pitch, and Salah is probably going to make it 1-0 in the first 4 minutes. So Arsenal lucky there to get away with that, and to be honest, it's brilliant attacking play from Liverpool. Liverpool, of course, didn't have it all their own way, and this is an example of the rare occasions when Liverpool make the bad decision when playing out from the back. So here I'm just highlighting Van Dijk. He's pointing to the goalkeeper to say to Lovren, get it into the keeper and then back into me. Here we can see 7 Arsenal players on the right hand side of the pitch, and Lovren, like I said, either needs to play the ball back into the keeper and then out into Van Dijk, or he could just play the ball directly straight through that gap into Van Dijk and break Arsenal's press. So it wasn't the best press in the world. Liverpool could have played out. However, a poor decision from Lovren, and they lost possession. Okay, so that ball in there, they lose the ball. And now that Arsenal have won the possession back, just take a look at Robertson's position there. This is the problem with playing with the high fullbacks. However, Arsenal didn't win the ball back too many occasions with the fullbacks as high as this, but on this occasion they did, and as we all know, they made the most of it. So after breaking through, still we can see that Robertson's the wrong side of his man, so when that cross comes in, it's an easy tap in for Arsenal. And a good goal, but they didn't get these opportunities enough in the game.